In today's video, I'm going to go over some pro tips for DMZ so you can do better in your games either playing solo or with players. Now, I guess the first thing I should say is I 100% don't recommend for you to play solo. Now, I myself do like risking it and going in solo sometimes, but I do not recommend it anyway, so definitely playing with players that you either know, so a friend group, or randoms is always best. But let's say you don't have anyone that you can play with. We actually have a Discord server down in the description where a lot of people have recently joined to play DMZ, so if you are looking for anyone to talk to and team up with and maybe play some DMZ and do some of the things that I'm going to go over in today's video, then definitely be sure to check it out. Also, if you're new here, consider subscribing. We just hit 36,000 subscribers and we're on the road hitting 40,000, so we are even closer than ever, so thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. And also be sure to drop a like on the video. The next thing I'm going to talk about is something that you can actually put on inside your settings that will be beneficial for both DMZ and Warzone, and that is by going into your controller settings or your keyboard settings and going all the way down and going to interact or reload behavior and changing that to either prioritize interact or prioritize reload. Personally, I choose prioritize interact just because there are some situations where I don't even want to reload and I would very much like to pick up something. The reason I recommend for you to do this is because you will no longer have to hold down your key on your keyboard or your button on your controller to pick up anything or reload your weapon. This will make such a huge difference in stressful situations when you have to deal with bots or enemy players, so that's why I kind of just recommend for you to change that for basically the future. The next one is do not spawn in with any weapons if you are just planning to go in and complete some objectives. The reason I tell you this is because you will end up losing them more than likely. The amount of times I've personally just spawned in, decided to go and do something, and I end up dying, I either lose my insured weapon or a weapon that I just extracted with, is frustrating. So you're better off just spawning in with your fists because you can actually easily find weapons around the place. But don't just spawn in with the fists. You can always equip a tactical, lethal, and a field upgrade. So for the tacticals, I recommend equipping stim shots just because they will come in useful when you need to regen health fast, and for your tactical, a throwing knife because this will make it easy to be stealthy and take down, let's say, AIs to get their weapon at the beginning of a game. And also for the field upgrade, depends on to you. I like to run munitions box or battle rage because battle rage will increase your health and make you run faster in some situations that it might come in useful. Now, if you do decide to spawn in with any kind of weapon, do bear in mind that the XP on this mode is actually amazing. So that's another thing that I want to tell you. If you want to level up any kind of weapon, it is really useful to just spawn in with them. Maybe you can get one off of an AI if it's a weapon that you haven't leveled up fully, and killing AI will always give you 100 XP for doing it. And also just exploring Al Mazrah, which is a brand new map right now for most of you, and exploring the areas with the weapon out will actually be all giving you XP towards your weapon. Continuing on with weapons, or at least having things from the game after exfilling, that's the main idea of DMZ. When you exfil with some things, you will end up keeping them for a later game. If you do end up losing your main weapon, your insured weapon, you will be punished with a 2-hour wait time until you can use it again. But there is actually a way of getting rid of that timer, and it involves you just exfilling with more money or some loot. This as a result will take down the 2-hour timer to, let's say, 1 hour and a half or even less depending on how many times you end up exfilling after losing your weapon. This will just bring your insured slot back and you will be able to use it again in your next game if you decide to spawn in with it. Also, do bear in mind you can stow your actual contraband weapons, which are the ones that you exfil from, let's say, the bots, or you can actually unlock them from completing faction objectives, which are the main things inside of the game. And also you can stow away your keys, which is the next thing I want to talk about. Keys and keycards play a very big role inside of the game. They allow you to open strongholds or other locations inside of the game that you wouldn't be really able to get to. There are 3 different versions that you can have. One that has 3 uses, one that has 2 uses, and one that has 1 use. The most common one that I've stumbled upon is the Warren, which is the 1-use key, and that just means that you'll be able to only use it once, and after that it will break. Now with the 3 uses one, you'll be able to use it again, and then make sure you exfil successfully. You'll be able to keep that key for the future. Currently what I try to do is collect as many keys as possible, put them away in my actual stash, and in the future if I ever decide to go into any of these locations, I'll just have a key ready, spawn it with it, go to the location, exfil successfully if it's not a Warren one, and keep all of the loot for the future, which will probably come in very handy. Now, since we are talking about something inside of the game right now, there's some little tips and tricks that I want to tell you about gameplay. Using vehicles is a huge thing inside of DMZ. They are really useful because they basically can take down AIs with one hit, and especially juggernauts. So if you ever want to go for the weapon case, which will actually reward you with 7 different rewards, and the last one being this operator, it's pretty amazing in my opinion. It's for Koenig. So using a vehicle against the juggernaut, it will instantly kill him, and then let's say you're in a sticky situation where you have to quickly run out and pick up the weapon case, having your interact button that I talked about earlier and prioritizing, let's say, interact will come in extremely useful in these kind of situations. Now, the best vehicles in my opinion to use are the armored ones, which you can find just randomly around the map or from AI that just drive around you. But the most common one is the LTV, which is just a big armored truck that just has a lot of health and will protect you inside very well. Any other weapon isn't really useful to go up against AI because they'll just be running out of health really fast and aren't really that good in my opinion. Now, another great thing to keep in mind is money. Money plays a really big role inside of DMZ. Of course, as I mentioned, you are able to collect money to, let's say, take down time from your weapon if you exfil successfully with it in your actual backpack. But completing this little bounties or objectives around the map, which are marked with the green phone, is a really good thing to do, as they will be rewarding you with a lot of different amount of money. Now, if you are struggling to find these phones, one great thing to do is simply marking them on your map. The way you can do that is opening your map and then whatever it tells you, if you're playing on mouse and keyboard or controller, to mark the thing, you'll be able to really easily find it, because the phones seem to be very difficult to sometimes find in my opinion. Another great thing to do with money is definitely searching a lot of things. You'll be finding a lot of money around the map, and especially inside of the registers, they're a great way of getting it. And also do search medical boxes, or at least always go inside of a bathroom. The reason I recommend this for you is because you will be finding self-reses. They play a huge role inside of DMZ, especially if you decide to spawn in solo, as you'll be able to revive yourself, because if you don't play with people, you'll just end up bleeding out and not being able to revive yourself. So 100% always look for a self-res. And overall, looting and then selling that stuff in a buy station, and then being able to purchase, let's say, more armor plates, more armor slots, or just different weapons with better attachments on, is a huge thing. Now, overall, that's the tips and tricks. I know this video was quite long, but I wanted to go over some things that I've learned, and honestly, these will make a huge difference if you do them. Join up that Discord server if you are looking for people, or if you have the balls like I do every single time spawning in solo, don't spawn in with a weapon. It's not worth it. You will most likely end up losing them. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. 40,000 subscribers, here we come. Again, thank you so much for 36k, and I will see you guys at the next one. Peace out.